Welcome to another edition of Coffee with Crypto. Now, allow me to start today's session with a quote from a gentleman by the name of Michael Hoff. Now, he says, hard times create strong men create good times create weak men, and weak men create hard times. It's a vicious circle, and in South African context, we are really feeling it. This is what's happening in our country at the moment. What is currently happening in the country? You look at the story that's hitting the news every morning. It has to do with the VAT increase. If you Google around, it will say finance minister's budget speech was leaked with a 2% VAT increase that was proposed for public servants. Now, the whole of the country is up in arms, to be honest. The country, everybody is wondering where are we going to get all this money? I mean, if you go on X or Twitter, everybody is posing questions. If you go on TikTok, people are making videos, content around this, and everybody is crying foul, asking the minister and the current government where if you put a 2% VAT increase on salaries that are already cannot meet the monthly obligations, where's this money going to come from? You know, so the country is feeling it. People are feeling it, and these are people that we've put in power to look after our best interests. But I'm not sure if they're doing it. So definitely, we are in hard times. And just to support that, I'll show you another story that was written. Um, it has to do with the IMF. We are in big debt. Here's a headline that says IMF proposes debt ceiling strategy for South Africa to tackle unsustainable debt. We have unsustainable debt from our lenders or from overseas. Hey, they even want to cap our debt. We can't keep borrowing and borrowing to perpetuity. We need to come up with a plan, you know. So, I mean, currently it says the projections from National Treasury reveal that South Africa's current government debt is currently standing at 5.2 trillion rands, and it is expected to exceed 6.05 trillion in the next year. You know, uh, and I don't know. I don't know how do we plan. It looks like we're going to continuously go into being bigger, getting into bigger and bigger debt. It's almost like, you know, when your bank gives you a credit card, they start your credit card with 5,000, and you're like, "Oh, I've got money," and you go spend that money, and then in the next month you struggle to service or pay back the money they've borrowed you. Now you come up with a solution to go and extend the credit card, the limit of the credit card. Now you take it to 10,000, and every month, every year, instead of your income servicing the debts that you have, your income is just not enough. So you always get into bigger and bigger and bigger debts. That's the cycle we're in, and we definitely need smarter individuals. We need strong men and women to get us out of this rut that we're in. Now, I'm going to show you a story. It's a clip. It's a couple of a few weeks old, but it concerned me when I saw this clip. It's from Davos, and I had a discussion with a couple of my friends that we share. Some we share the same sentiments, some we didn't. But it was around our governor. I mean, our governor went to Davos. Now, this meeting happens annually. This is where uh, men and women in finance, in corporate, in governments, they attend these meetings. You have to be invited. It's almost like an elite club. You have to attend this session on an annual basis. And this year they were talking crypto quite a lot, and they were talking regulations. And you know the crypto connoisseur. You know, I take these stories, I give them to you, and there's always a crypto spin to it, you know. So my biggest worry was when I listened to the governor of the Reserve Bank, Lesedi Kganyago, speaking about a proposed item, especially from the United States, of a Bitcoin strategic reserve. And his response to the Bitcoin strategic reserve didn't go down well with me, especially when we look at a country with so much debt, especially when we look at a country that cannot, for us to service our debts, we have to pinch the people every time. If it's not taxed, it's some form of tax. I mean, VAT is tax whether you like it or not. Today is the VAT increase. Not so long ago, we were talking about the two-pot system. People were cashing out of the two-pot system, and government were able to put their claws into those people's money. So every year we come up with smart ways of taxing the people. Now there's going to come a time where we cannot afford to do this no more. And that's why I say we need smart men and women to get us out of this rut that we're in. Now, let me play you this clip. There's a panel here. There's Lesetja Kganyago as part of the panel. He comes in as a central banker that looks at regulation. And there's supporting acts from the United States. There's Brian Armstrong, who's the CEO of Coinbase. This is one of the leading crypto exchanges out there. There's Anthony Scaramucci. He's also an investor, a business person. I forgot the third lady's name. But these people come from an environment where the regulation in the US for crypto was very hostile during the Biden era. Now, Trump has come in, and Trump is saying, guys, we need to get out of this choke that we've had on crypto. We need to ensure that businesses are able to flourish. Crypto businesses, IT infrastructure businesses, they are able to flourish. People that want to service this asset class are able to flourish. Banks need to be able to custody crypto. This is where Trump is coming from, and he wants to ensure that businesses succeed. People are able to invest. So there's a question that was asked from the floor, and directly to Brian Armstrong. But secondary to that, Lesetja Kganyago responded. Now, take this 5 minutes, listen to this clip, listen to what the other smartest minds in the world are saying around crypto and strategic Bitcoin reserves, and how our governor of the Reserve Bank views the strategic reserves and some of the ideas that he has. I don't know if these ideas will take us forward in this AI revolution times that we're in. But yeah, just listen to him and tell me what you think.
Afternoon, Gareth Jenkinson here. I'm the managing editor at Cointelegraph. I think I'll throw this at you, Brian, because there was no mention of a Bitcoin strategic reserve. This is one of the promises that Trump kind of made last year at Bitcoin Nashville. Obviously, we saw the Trump meme coin come out this weekend. In some way, shape, or form, this undermined the work that was being done to put forward a Bitcoin strategic reserve. Do you share that opinion, and do you think that this is still very much on the cards for the US going forward in the next year? Thank you.
Yeah, I don't think it undermined anything with the strategic Bitcoin reserve. That effort is still alive and well. Cynthia Lummis in the Senate in the US is really pushing that idea, and I think it would be a good idea for anybody who's not familiar with it. There is a proposal for the US government to start to hold Bitcoin. The U.S. government, like many countries, they hold reserves in a variety of different assets: gold, oil, rare minerals like palladium, and I think they have like maybe 27 different reserves. And so, many governments hold gold. I think they should start to hold Bitcoin, because Bitcoin is essentially the new gold standard. It's, I think, a very core way that you should hold assets and hold value over time. And it's still nascent enough where it has some volatility. It's getting less and less over time, but it still has a lot of upside potential. So I think if the U.S. gets that legislation approved, which I hope they do, the rest of the G20 will follow, and that could be a huge driver of Bitcoin price appreciation.
Governor, do you want to comment on that? Do you see South Africa going towards a Bitcoin strategic reserve?
Yeah,
no, can't quite say. I want to distinguish between the technology that underpins this asset and the assets themselves. The regulator, we do not regulate technology. we regulate activity.
Mhm.
So we are technology agnostic.
Mhm.
So
All right.
that's
All
why
right.
I had said it's not for governments to decide which assets or which products
Mhm.
the consumer should be using. So the technology is very useful. Give you
Okay.
the
You agree
idea.
with the technology, okay?
We piloted a blockchain technology in our payment space with finality in central bank money, and we were able to settle transactions that we settle in a whole day in 46 seconds, 36 minutes. We were able to do that. So the technology could be useful, and we would look at that, and I don't think that is a problem.
Okay.
We have
That's
a
payments.
significant problem with a lobby that says governments should hold this asset or hold that asset without what the strategic intent of government is. Because you see, there is a history to gold. There was once a gold standard. Currencies were pegged to gold. But if we now say that, okay, Bitcoins, okay, what about platinum? What about gold?
Okay.
Why don't we hold strategic beef reserves or mutton reserves
Okay.
or apple reserves? Why Bitcoin?
How do they get us out of debt?
It's a policy issue that we have got to be engaged in. And I would caution against the move then that would say there is an industry with a particular interest in a particular product, and we would like to impose it on society and say society must hold this as a reserve. I would have a fundamental problem with it.
So why Bitcoin reserve and not beef reserves and mutton reserves? Anyone wants to comment on that?
Well, I think that if you like Neil Ferguson is here, he has a great book on the ascent of money, and he's a historian, and so many things have been used as money over the years. I think it's pretty. This is still maybe a new idea, but I think it's clear at this point that Bitcoin is a better form of money than gold. It is provably scarce, just like gold, but it's more portable and divisible, so you can actually use. It has higher utility, I would say. And it was the best performing asset of the last 10 years. And so for store of value, I think it's going to be important for governments to hold this over time. It might start with being 1% of their reserves, but I think over time it'll come to be equal to or greater than gold reserves.
Okay, great. Well, let's go to the next question.
Okay. So here's my gripe with this. And I mean, you can hear how Brian Armstrong responds to this. Lesotho doesn't have a problem with blockchain technology because they've been testing it. They've been working with companies that implement these infrastructures. But he's got a problem to say, hold this asset. And in this case, we're speaking Bitcoin, right? I would find it slightly less offensive, for lack of a better word, if he said, let us rather hold a basket of crypto as part of our strategic reserve, not just Bitcoin. For you not to be interested in Bitcoin, and I mean, this was the first digital asset that was created as a strategic reserve, is concerning because over the years, I mean, this asset class was born in 2009, and today is 2025. This asset class has went up beyond the rand so much. It has multiplied so much. Had we bought this asset, if the thinking was there, if the strong men and women that we need during these hard times, if they were there 10, 15 years ago, if they could foresee what this asset class is about to be, and I mean, Brian Armstrong just said it's Bitcoin is the new gold. If anybody had this vision, the Elon Musk type of vision, what this asset class is going to be, we wouldn't be in this debt. 15 years, in 2009, Bitcoin didn't even amount to 1 rand. It didn't even have that price tag. Do you want to know how much Bitcoin is now to the rand? Let me just show you what Bitcoin, how much is Bitcoin trading at? Bitcoin right now is trading at 79,000 US dollars. It has went down. It touched 100,000 a couple of weeks ago. It's at 79,000 US dollars. Let's just translate that into rand. Bitcoin to ZAR. Right now, one Bitcoin is worth 1.478 million rands. Now, if you do not want to hold an asset like this as part of your strategic reserve, I'm concerned because this is the future we are going to. The future of payments is in the blockchain. You know that. Now, here's an asset. Nobody says put all your all your eggs in this basket. But it could help. 1%, 2%, it could help. I mean, if 10 years ago you threw R1 billion into this asset class, chances are we wouldn't even be in this big debts that we are in. So I'm just saying, at this current point in time, we need wiser men and women that they come from the past. Yes, the school of thought of the past is very important. It teaches us mostly about where we come from and where we should be going. But I also do not want to have people in power, people in strategic positions that fail to see the opportunity that's in front of us. Leseja speaks about blockchain from a payments perspective, and that's all good and well. I agree. We are heading there. But from an investment perspective, this vehicle is very important. Looking at the times that we are in, this vehicle is very, very important. And for him not to even want to whisper into the ears of the people in power, people in government, to say, guys, as a central banker, as a person that watches the fluctuation of the rand on a daily basis, how weak we are on a daily basis. To the dollar, we are weak. To the pound, we are weak. To every other strong currency, we are weak. And we do not want to make a Bitcoin strategic reserve or a digital asset cryptocurrency strategic reserve. I think we are failing ourselves. We are failing our kids. We are failing the future of this country. We need to have these discussions to say, guys, we had an asset that wasn't worth 50 rands 15 years ago. It wasn't worth that much. Right now, it is worth 1.4 million rands. All you had to do was buy one Bitcoin and hold it for as many years. And it's worth that much today. So I'm the crypto connoisseur. I come here, I put, this information on your lap. I try to present the discussions that the smartest people in the industry are having. And for me, as a person that has participated in this industry for the many years that I have, and you know what, to be honest, for us to keep on talking about beef, I'm not saying don't hold beef reserves. I'm not saying don't hold coffee reserves, but how are those assets going to get you out of the 5 trillion rands that you owe the IMF? You cannot keep coming to us to want to increase VAT. You cannot keep coming to us to want to increase tax. The question I'm having is, maybe you should be looking at this new asset class. Maybe you should be participating in the investments that the smartest people, the Elon Musks of this world, are participating in. Ladies and gentlemen, I am your man, the crypto connoisseur. Back again with another video.